Hey, good afternoon, everyone. So we'll wait for 2 to 3 more minutes for the participants to join because we see the participants are getting in. Hi, Mubashir.
Hi Swati, hi everyone, good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
We see some participants already in. So, leaders, if you have not taken the pretest already, please go to your SuperTeacher, access your pretest, and complete it before everybody joins. And we'll be starting in another 2 minutes, right, Swati?
Yes, yes. So that's a quick reminder from Mubashir.
Yeah, already started getting so many messages. So, could you please confirm all of you if you have already done the pretest?
Okay,
Super.
this is only for the instructional leaders, ma'am. So only the Exceed leader has to attend this training, not the teachers.
Thank you so much, Gangotri ma'am, for rolling the ball.
Sridhar sir also acknowledged that he has done the pre-test.
Nagajyoti,
That's great.
yes. Leaders are always prompt.
Yes.
Wonderful, wonderful. Teachers are not required, Suchitra ma'am. This is only for instructional leaders.
Okay. Segment leader. We actually cannot. Go ahead, Mubashir.
I hope you are an instructional leader only. You'll be guiding your set of teachers, right? Gangotri ma'am, hope so. So you can be here. Yes, Gangotri ma'am. Yeah, thanks for the confirmation. You can be very much here. Good afternoon, Chitna ma'am. And we have
Okay.
participants joined. Hope all of you have taken the pretest. Yeah, it's good to start. Swati, let's start.
Okay. So let me quickly introduce myself. I'm Durga Swati. I come from implementation team. So I'll be co-hosting, co-facilitating along with Mubashir today. Sorry, I've already taken out your name. You can go ahead, Mubashir.
Hi, everyone. I'm Mubashir, and I'll be co-hosting this one as well. And I'm from implementation team, SuperTeacher implementation team, Tamil Nadu South and Kerala. Thank you, Swati. You can take up from here.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. So let's quickly go through the agenda for today's session. So what is the session going to look like? So let's have a quick agenda. So the very first thing that we are going to do today, the very first session is all about leading with impact. So we will understand what is the role of a super teacher instructional leader to get the most from the Exceed method, right? And followed by the tools that empower the growth. So however, whatever tools that we have, like blue checklist, how the coaching and feedback and reporting can be done to improve the teacher performance in every school. And last but not the least, we will be solving problems. There will be some practical solutions that are needed. So we will take the questions, some of the questions of teachers and parents that you get and try to get a practical solution for this. So if you can show me a quick thumbs up, we will get started then. Okay. So let's get. Okay, I see some of you raising hand. I'll take that as a thumbs up. Okay, great. So what actually is meant by leading with impact is something that we are going to see now. So leading with impact, which is the role of a super teacher instructional leader. That's the first point in our agenda. So we are going to start with that very quickly. So in this session, what you're going to do is you will be, you will see how to build a culture of teacher growth, also reflective dialogue and student success. So how this can be done is something that we will be seeing in session 1, and also try to understand what goes into a great exceed method class, which means a 50-50 class. And then we will lead by, and how can you lead it by an example? That is something that you're also going to go through in session 1, along with planning your observations and feedback schedule, which is for the of every teacher right from day 1. So that's what you're going to see through. So before we start that, I just wanted you to, brainstorm, just think about before we begin, whatever you think. So tell us what you think. So what is one word that describes your goal for the teachers you will guide this year? So I want you to quickly put it in the chat box. So what is that one goal? If you want to unmute and share, please raise your hand. We will try to give you an opportunity. Otherwise, chat box is the best thing. Okay. Thank you, John C. Ravikumar, for rolling the ball. Consistent. Okay. Academic results. Keep going. Keep going. So the question is, what is one word that describes your goal for the teachers that you will be guiding this year? I just have 2 responses out of 91 participants. Friendly environment. Follow-up question. Just, speak your mind. Don't worry about don't try to weigh your answers or questions whenever you're asking something. Interactive teaching methods, facilitating, supporting, interactive classes, goal-oriented. We will wait for another 2-3 responses quickly. Empowerment, open-ended questions, updating oneself. That is double response from Gangotri ma'am. Thank you so much. Perfect facilitator, making teachers learning interesting. Okay, now I see they're flooding in. Okay, great. So let's get started then, since you have everything clearly in your mind, what is your goal. So let's start working towards that, right? So now we will be actually so we will watch how to actually create a culture where children feel unafraid and express themselves freely and grow into a confident individual for life. So I'm going to show you a video now which illustrate what it means to be confident, unafraid, and expressive. So please watch it and then we will talk. Just show me a thumbs up if the audio is clear. If it is audible. Okay, thank you. Thank you so much, ma'am.
We learn about the advantage and disadvantage of the globe and a map. A globe is a model of Earth. A map part shows the accurate position and the shape of continents, but the globe shows accurate place and our bodies. Great. We learn how to draw top view, side view, and front view. In the third chart number 2, the sweet potato roots are just okay and no plant are growing. But in chart number 3, the sweet potato root is just giving a birth to a new plant. Next is a statement that is related to the need to avoid how opinions are statements which it's only on a person's thoughts. The view helps us to see and understand the shape better way. We can identify facts by we can prove them, but for opinions, they're just ideas. Traveling around one place to another, you should use a map. because it is easy to carry. Then in lab, leader is large and in globe is small.
Okay, so I believe you all have seen the video, and so let's quickly just give me a minute. Start resharing. Okay. Okay, now let's get to see what is. So now what do you understand from this video? Quickly, if you can type in the chat box, what have you experienced in this particular video? How are we actually talking about it? How the 50-50 or whatever we are trying to mention it here. So what is the difference that you can make? So quickly, if you can type in the chat box. Okay, my voice is getting echo. Is it Mubashir? Is it for you also?
It's quite fine for me. Must be
Ma'am,
from
if you're
my
sitting in the same room with multiple participants, you will have the echo. That could be the reason. I hope it is fine with others. Expressing with confidence. Okay. Students explore the topic themselves, not spoon-fed. Okay. Actively engaged in class. That's great. Okay. Now let us see our next slide. Let me show you. Let me share my screen. Yep. So again, I hope the screen is visible. A quick thumbs up.
Yes, Swati, it's visible.
Okay, thank you. Thank you, Mubashir. So now how can you make the difference? Let us understand your role, right? So some of you have already mentioned that this is what children are doing. But when we spoke about understanding our role just before this particular video, we spoke about how can we set a 50-50 classroom and how can we set a culture of making teachers also have that confidence in communicating or maintain the transparency, right? So let's see what is the role. Obviously, your role is to lead by example. So you have to become an expert in delivering a 50-50 classroom. Being the exceed leader, you should teach a super teacher class. And you should be able to demonstrate the best practices and invite the other teachers to come observe your class and learn from your class. And definitely when you're doing this, your aim should be like just now we've seen 50-50, we will also get to see again in another video, but here also you see the children are expressing with confidence like some of you shared. But when you are doing an exceed class or exceed super teacher class, please aim for a 50-50 classroom where the communication is equal between a teacher and a student, right? And the second part of your role is making time to observe. Right. So first of all, you have to set the culture, right? You have to foster that excellence, transparency, and open communication. So which actually also reflect on the success and areas of improvement. When you're having when you encourage a growth mindset where feedback is seen as a tool for learning, not just, trying to judge or teachers feeling it as a judgment, we have to ensure that it is being seen as a tool for learning, right? And also keep management informed, seek guidance, and also share plans if you have any after seeing all this and by setting the culture. And also observe regularly. When I said make time to observation, you have to make it as a routine. Make time to observe every teacher. You have to establish a routine, observation, coaching. That is actually the key to success. So this will be discussed in detail during today's session. So the third thing in your role comes obviously giving constructive feedback, which will support teachers in improving their practices, which helps actually for them to, learn towards or lean towards learning, like I said in the previous one, to be able to express themselves and learn and see your feedback as a tool for learning, right? And the fourth part of your role is obviously report on how it's going on. So you have to loop in the management. You have to keep them updated and seek the help that is needed, right? So that's majorly the role, leading by example, making time to observe, give constructive feedback, report on how things are going on, and also don't forget to set the culture, right? Let's move on to, obviously we have already spoken about setting the culture. So let's move on watching another video, which actually, so before we watch that video, I want you to begin observing or understanding what a 50-50 class is, right? And how we can make it happen. So let's watch a short version of the Exceed method class to identify these key practices. And after that, I will invite you to again type in the chat box about what do you think a 50-50 class is and what practices can help you achieve. Okay, so let's quickly watch it.
Who's reading the aim for us?
Going to listen to things about space and find the facts and opinions in it.
We need to watch this video.
Space junk does not consist only of small pieces of debris. There are chunks of old space stations.
In my opinion, space junk problem can be solved.
You read these statements and let me know, is it fact or is it an opinion? When you can identify this is fact.
Text is a statement that is related to that means no knowing, while opinions are statements which it's only on a person's thoughts.
About space junk.
I learned how to differentiate from a fact or an opinion. We can identify facts by we can prove them, but for opinions, they're just ideas of people.
Okay, so since we have watched the video, I want you to quickly type in the chat box. What do you think actually what do you think about the 50-50 classroom and what can we do? Okay, we have already some of the responses coming in. Students were asked a lot of questions to induce critical thinking and student-centric, critical thinking. Okay, let's keep going. Encourage thinking, questioning, and application. Oh, that's good, Sridhar sir. Think, pair, and share strategy. That's a beautiful strategy to encourage, 50-50 classroom. Obviously, a lot of discussion can happen through that. Assessment. So how assessment is going to help in getting a 50-50 classroom? Okay, we should give wait time. Yes, that's a beautiful response. Yes, wait time. Students are full involving in the session, ask more questions. Yes. Okay. Students were active, passive. Okay. So you've seen the video. So can you also type in, like some of you have typed already. So what are the best practices to help them achieve this 50-50 talk time? Some of you said wait time, think, pair, share, asking more questions, anything of that sort. Yes, we have opportunity at every part. Appreciate their responses. Yes, that's absolutely right. So appreciating children responses so that, they are more towards speaking their mind or opening up. Due to 50-50 classroom, students can think creatively and this will give them confidence. Yes, of course, we should not tempt children. Asking open-ended questions and give them Time to put responses. Yes, it helps the students to open up and boost their confidence. Okay, there are lots of responses. Thank you so much for the amazing participation. So let me quickly share my screen once again, and then we will try understanding. Okay, so what makes for a great exceed method class? We've been already talking about it. We've been thinking about it. Now let us see how or what can actually make a great exceed method class, right? And many of you have shared many responses. Yes, you spoke about assessment, application, and also ask more and tell less. If you have been with Exceed for at least a year, you must have known this. Most of our education coaches must have spoken about this, that avoid long explanations, especially in the action, right? So action is the step in an Exceed method class where students explore on their own, whether it is in pairs or in groups or individually, right? So the teacher should ensure that they understand the instructions and have the necessary resources. During this time, the teacher's role is to observe and provide support only when needed. This is not the time for explanation. So when you are watching, when you're observing your teachers, their classrooms, please keep in mind that whether the action is going according to what we have discussed, right? And many of you mentioned about wait time. I'm very happy to see that. So give wait time, especially obviously in analysis time, but all the other times also, if there is any possibility. So wait time allows students to think and process what actually they did during the action step and reflect on their learning. So the teacher may ask some guiding questions. I was actually looking for that in the responses, some follow-up questions or guiding questions to support their thinking. But some of you did say that ask more questions or open-ended questions of that sort, right? And the other important thing, or what kind of, supporting questions you ask is some of the examples are given here. What do you think? Can somebody add to that? Or, can you give an example of what you're saying, which will encourage students to think and speak further, right? And obviously encouraging discussions, like some of you said, appreciating or encouraging discussions, and get as many opinions. Some of you also mentioned open-ended questions. So open-ended question is about getting as many opinions as possible. So in class, whenever a higher order thinking question, HOTS question is discussed, the students have they written their answers. So we can see that different opinions, whatever different opinions are sharing, should be welcomed. And students should engage in healthy discussions to understand different, whatever perceptions we have or each child has. They should be able to respect each other's perception and also get understanding of all these opinions, right? And another, also exit tickets are one of the a place where this 50-50 discussion can happen. You have seen in the video. So it's a great way to check whether the students have learned instead of summarizing, just reading out the aim, right? So let students summarize their own learning in their own words. When they do it, it is like you shared, some of you, assessment, right? And also, some of you have mentioned towards the end that we have to encourage the participation. So you have to use strategies like round robin method, or where every student in a group takes turns in speaking, talking tokens, and also talking tokens can be given at the start of the classroom, which students return after taking a turn to speak. And ice cream sticks are the very popular method we use across. So they can be also used randomly to call on students to answer. So these are some of the practices that can make a great exceed method class. These are some of the tips that can actually work in the classroom, right? Then moving on to, okay, now I want all of you to review the details in this observation schedule, and please summarize the key points that are given in this table. So what did you notice about this schedule? So just quickly observe and type in the chat box, what do you notice about the schedule? Okay, I see the first. Oh, that's good. Regularity, planning for observation. Planning. Observation on regular basis. Okay. Observe all columns. 2 teachers are observed every week from different grades, covering all subjects. Schedule for teacher observation. Exactly, Shabina ma'am. So there is a follow-up date too. Yes. So it's not just observing, but also following up, planning for observation and feedback, plan for observation of different subjects. See, teachers have to do weekly and day-wise. Preparation. Okay, that's very good. Different lesson types. Exactly. If you see, many things have been mentioned over here, and the table speaks all the preparation, the follow-up, how a exceed instructional leader has to plan their scheduling, because in our role, we once spoke about doing an exceed super teacher class, which aims for 50-50. And also we spoke about having a giving time to making time to observe. So that is something we have to be talking about, and that is what this particular uh, slide or the table that you have seen spoke about, right? So now we have seen some tips for making the 50-50 classroom and where are the areas where we can make the 50-50 classroom. Now let us see some planning tips for the observation and the feedback. Okay. So the very first thing, it is very important to ensure we have this proper planning, feedback, and follow-up loop. And also, in addition, we have to share the importance of what and when we are going to do it, right? A pre-discussion is something we have to be very much be following up with when teachers are planning. So also have a pre-discussion if they needed anything, if everything is set or something need to be improvised or anything of that discussion. A pre-discussion with the teachers is always helpful. And also start on day 1. Every day is precious, and habits, they form quickly. So if you wait for everybody to settle down and then start, so by the time things must already have gone out of your hand. So every day is precious. Please ensure that you start on day 1, right? That is a very important thing to be followed up. And also see all the teachers. So make sure that the observation duration is 30 to 40 minutes per session. And also, like you have seen or observed in that particular slide, mix of planned and unannounced visits. So go for observation by planning some of them and by without planning. I mean, you have a plan, but you will not announce it to the teachers. So some unannounced visits to capture the authentic classroom dynamics. But do observe all the teachers at least once every month and prioritize. Definitely, your priority should always be new and the struggling teachers across grades and subjects, not just one part, right? And also make enough time. So as I said, the pre-discussions before going to the classroom for 5 to 10 minutes, that what is the plan that you're going to do, which day, which time, which subject, and also some classroom visits, obviously, which is 30 to 40 minutes, like I shared, a whole classroom to get the gist right from aim until exit ticket, which is assessment. And also followed by feedback, which is for 15 minutes. So speak to the teacher right after the observation for 15 minutes, making her or him understand what has happened and what is the feedback that will help them in improving it, right? So observation focus aligned with the teacher development goals. Always have the engagement, do question, and also have some differentiations when you're doing, have some tips even for it, right? And start with basics. So classroom management using the lesson plan, resources in place, moving towards 50-50. These are something you can start with, instead of going into deeper practices, to make them, things or giving them a feedback that is quickly doable or can be followed up. And also follow-up sessions. Like you have seen in the table, the follow-up sessions, you do schedule to discuss feedback and action steps for improvement. For example, you have gone for an observation today and have given some feedback to the teacher. Now you have a follow-up session of discussing or again visiting that teacher, maybe after 2 weeks or after 10 days or after 20 days, however your schedule or the number of teachers that you have under your own school or the section or wherever it is. Like for example, if some schools have multiple instructional leaders, some schools have one. So based on that, you can plan your follow-up sections. Right? So with that, we end the first part of the first point in the agenda, where we have spoken about leading by impact. Now let's move on to the second part, and I'll hand it over to Mubashir from here.
Thank you, Swati. A lot of interesting tips to be a great instructional leader. So let me begin. Let me share. Give me a second. Hope you can see the screen.
Yes, Mubashir.
Great, wonderful. I just want to check how's your energy. So quickly in the chat box, see one word, type in the chat box, what comes to your mind when I say tools? So when I say tools, what is the one thing that is coming to your mind? Only one word. Resources, okay. Learning, strategy, energizer, all these are tools. Wonderful. Resources again. Mathematics, okay. That's interesting. Helping hand. Teaching aids. Okay. Feedback. Okay. Yeah. Okay, resources and aids. Lesson plan is a wonderful tool, of course, Shweta ma'am. Amazing. Okay. Great. Wonderful. I see the energy in the room, and afternoon, nobody's taking a nap in between. Okay, so interesting. Look at variety of responses you see there. And here in this module for tools, what we are going to discuss, tools for empowering growth. I'll be taking you through the objectives of the module in the next slide. You'll be see here. So first, we will be discussing the blue checklist. That is the tool that we are going to discuss over here. That will be a wonderful tool, very effective, very productive tool that you will be using subsequently whenever you're observing the classes. So in the first part, we'll be discussing how the blue checklist is going to help you as an instructional leader and as a teacher as well. So that is what we're going to discuss first. And in the second point, we'll be discussing how to use the blue checklist. So blue checklist, and to understanding each and every criteria in it, understanding it better helps us improve our teaching, and also we'll be able to help our teachers. And in the third point, see, this tool is not only for observing and putting the checks or ticking the checks. Instead, we will also be able to help our teachers to give effective coaching feedback and action steps for the teachers once the observation is done. Okay, and the fourth one is also understanding this as maintaining a record of all your observations, and how this is going to help you to give a proper specific report to the management, and we have to loop in them as well in this process of implementing the program in the school. So that is what we are going to discuss. So without much ado, let's go into the next slide. Okay, here you see that we are going to do an interesting activity to understand how these tools are going to help you. So just to understand what is the power of clear criteria and observation. So what you're going to do, listen to the instructions first. And the first point is that you have to observe. I'm going to show you two videos. And both the videos are showing some clapping patterns. And when you're observing, you have to just note down in your notebook. So what is out of 10, how will you rate it? 1 to 10? 1 is the least and 10 is the highest. You have to just jot down the point and how much will you rate that first video 1 and video 2. Okay, then I'll be showing after the first video, I'll be showing that, and I'll open a poll. You can put it in the poll as well. Okay, great. So ready to see the first video? Let me stop sharing this one. Okay, I see that you are already ready for that. Okay, I'm sharing the video. Sharing the sound as well. Okay, I'm going to play the first video. So just observe and score it out of 10.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, hey.
Okay, that's all. The first video is over. Should I play it once again?
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, hey.
Amazing. Hope you have put your rating in your notebook on that notepad right now. I'm going to show you the next one now. Second video. And second, getting the same. Maybe I'll have to close this one and then open the next one.
So in the meantime, I hope you understand what Mubashir has asked. You all must have rated your previous video. So let us get ready to read the next video that Mubashir is going to show. In terms of clarity,
Yeah.
Clap high, clap low, clap along the rainbow, clap around, clap flat, clap
Mubashir, we cannot see the video, only audio is
Oh, sorry. Let the video load.
audio. We can only hear it.
Yeah. Can you see it now?
Not yet.
It looks loading, right?
Yes. Start. Double click to enter full screen mode. That's what it says.
Mm-hmm. 1 second.
Yeah.
Are you sharing something? Not right?
No, I'm not sharing.
You're sharing this post. 1 second, let me.
Okay. Let me know if it is not happening with you.
Do you have the video? Second video. Could you please open?
Yes, I am trying to share it.
Something is wrong with mine.
No issues. Just give me a second. In the meantime. Sorry for the trouble. Okay. Yeah.
Is it link you?
Yes, I think I have it ready.
Okay.
Just. I hope this works.
Hopefully.
Clap high, clap low, clap along the rainbow, clap around, clap flat, clap this, clap that, from the bottom to the top, 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 clap 1, 2, 3, and stop.
Yeah, was that clear?
Yeah, it was stuck in between, but still it was okay, I think. And let's
Okay,
listen.
I'll play it once again then.
Yeah, please.
Clap high, clap low, clap along the rainbow, clap around, clap flat, clap this, clap that, from the bottom to the top, 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 clap 1, 2, 3, and stop.
Okay, that was clear. Super, super, amazing. Okay, put your rating. I'll just put, let me see if the poll is working. Okay, I'm launching the first poll. So just put your rating over there. If you're using a mobile, just scroll down, you'll be able to see. Okay, I see already. The first video, you're going to rate the first video. What is your rating out of 10? Super amazing pattern. Yeah, quickly, everybody, please. Yeah, Johnsy ma'am, I see your comment there. Could you please put in the chat? There's one also, there's Paul also, that we'll be able to see. Great. Okay. This is only for the first video. Great, 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 great. I'm entering the poll right now. Then we will see the result. Okay, let's see the result on the screen. Now you see, right?
Yes.
Where most of the scores are. 5, right?
Yeah, between 5 to 7 and
Okay. And then it is, some people have rated it also 9, then 4, 3, and these are the numbers. We say, okay, good, wonderful. Okay, now I'm going to share the second poll for the second one. Yes, stop sharing. 1 second. Okay, here you have to rate the second poll. Yes. This is for the second video that Swati has shown you. Quickly. Okay, shall I end the poll now? Great, I'm ending it. Just see the result now. Here also we see something from 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5. Okay, you see the results, right?
Yes, they're visible
Mostly
in
on the
the
upper
sheet.
sides, but still there are some of us have rated it as 4, 5, 6, some of you, 7, some of you it is 10, and some of you it's 9. Okay, great. I'm stop sharing. Wonderful. Okay, great. Let me share the screen once again. See the screen, right, Sati?
Yes.
Thank you. Okay, so what you're going to do, already you have watched it and we have taken some time over there. Now, what you're going to do, so you have already watched it, right? And I hope that is not required. Another watching is not required. So now you have to look at this criteria. There's 1, 2, 3, 4 is given. What you have to rate, you have to see the clarity of sound and variety of rhythm you have to see. And also you have to see the engagement and energy. So see the fourth, body movement as well. So when you rate all of this, see when you have to consider clarity of the sound, variety of rhythm, engagement and energy, and also body movement. If you see all of this, how you rate it? Now you can rate it in the chat box. We will see. Video 1, video 2, both you can rate once again. Shilpa ma'am sharing video 2, all 4 points were covered. Wonderful. Okay, now you are very much clear. Otherwise, we were all not very specific. We were all rating, but in different ways. Great. Any other responses? Some of you has rated. Okay, now does the first video shared as rated as? Okay. Video 1, 3, and 2, 10. Okay, video 1. So, okay, super. One clarity is there. So now almost all of your responses are coming to align, well aligned. Okay, when you got it right. Okay, super. That's so. Let me ask you a few questions here. See how when the rating is the scale is given, how that is going to change? That changed. That the clear checklist as compared to when you didn't have a checklist earlier, and second time when I asked you to rate it, you had a checklist. How that helped you? I would like to get some responses in the chat box. Having a criteria, how that was helpful for you. Systemic and clear, very good. Yes, Chetna ma'am. Checklist gave clarity to decide on the criteria, what we have to look at. Yeah, correct. Structured approach. There was clarity. Okay, in the instructions also there is clarity, right? And when okay, there is what you have to look at. It is fair, correct? No, otherwise it's not consistent. It is not fair. There is no clarity. So having a clear criteria ensures that the observations are objective, not subjective. I like this guy, so I'm rating this. I didn't like this lady, so I'm rating this. It is not. And what you have to look at is given here. It is not the beauty. It is not something else. It's, what we have to look at is very clear, right? So that is why it's objective. It is consistent and also focused on the key teaching elements over here. Okay, so okay, then let's see the next question over here. See, why is it important to have a structured criteria when observing and giving feedback? What do you think? Clarity of the lessons we find. Oh, yeah, correct. Yes, Sri ma'am, you're correct. We are clear in what we want to assess. Yes, Gayatri ma'am, you're pretty clear on that. So we are not biased. Okay, that's amazing. And helps also future goal. Yeah, without a checklist, evaluations can be subjective and vary from person to person. We are biased, actually. We may tend to get biased on that. Okay, to have a clarity on what is actually assessing. Removing subjective variation. I'm just reading some of the comments that you're putting in the chat box. Wonderful. Great. Okay, in that case, we'll see the next question. See, if there is a checklist, how that can improve the consistency and the fairness of how you said that it will be improving the consistency and the fairness. So how is that going to improve if there is a checklist? Yeah, there is a methodology is followed, a method is followed. Wonderful. Otherwise, anything else? Yeah, correct. A structured approach help provide meaningful feedback. Wonderful. That is another. We know that the management needs what we have to, the clarity regarding the checklist. Correct. So a structured approach helps us providing meaningful feedback that supports teacher growth and improves classroom effectiveness. And the teacher knows what is she going to be observed. What are the elements to be observed? Or what are the practices to be observed? And okay, that is helpful for self-assessment as well. It's very structured, right? And also the observer knows where we have to look at. Correct. Okay, this is amazing. A lot of learning. Here you see that the clarity, the checklist is given very clearly so that we will be able to see, assess what is exactly we have to assess, and the rating scale is also given. And there is where we are reaching the meat of the matter, that is the blue checklist. In the blue checklist, if you see over here, see, look at the bottom, it has got 4 levels of achievement in each parameter that is given, each criteria that is given. So there are 8 criteria, 8 different parameters are there to look at, and that will be rated on these 4 levels. And the first one is not done. Not done means the teacher has missed doing it. Attempted means teacher is trying it. That's something positive is happening. Okay, we are still noting down. Teacher is trying, may not be perfect, but still we are noting down. And teacher has done it in a different way that is done. And teacher has done very well, very well. Well done means there is no much improvement possible beyond that. So in that level, the teacher is doing it. Okay, so if that is the case, there are 8 parameters to look at, 8 criteria to look at, and there are rating of 0, 1, 2, 3. And what a teacher can earn at the top, what will be the full score? Maths teachers here. Okay, all 8 parameters that the teacher is getting, 3 out of all. Okay, Vaishali ma'am, that's wonderful. Quick, very quick. Okay, so 24. 3 into 8, 24. So smart. Okay, correct. So this is how we, and all of us, this is not only for earning marks, and just like we give children the marks, it is not to earn the marks alone, right? So if it is more for marks, and we will be putting marks, that's not. We are actually assessing their learning. Just the same way, here is not just to get the score alone. So what exactly we are looking at, we will be able to see where we are, where the teacher is, and what is actually missing, and what are the points that she can improve on, so that we can frame our feedback accordingly. So here is the 8 parameters. I'll quickly take you through. The first one often happens before the class. The teacher preparation happens before the class, and teacher should be preparing with the resources, and teacher should be ready with the notes, and the notes section, she can add her own points that she'll be noting down. What is the difficulty area for the child? What will I do to rectify that? All of those points will be shared in the preparation part. So getting ready for the class. And communication is here it's also in proper communication with the children. Okay, tomorrow children, this is what we are going to do, or today what we are going to do. So all of those things, and the preparations also ends when the teacher is inside the classroom, and within 15 seconds the children also should be ready for the class. Children, you need a notebook, you need a pencil, you need whatever it may be, they need additional things or content book or workbook, whatever. And in between the class, no child should be dropping under the desk and pulling something from the bag. They should be ready by then. So teacher knows what she has to do, and children also well prepared at the beginning of the class itself. And then we come to the second point, that is setting the purpose of the class. The learning objective, we call it aim, the first step, right? Aim. Here, the teacher is very clear what children will be achieving in the given 40 minutes of time, 35 minutes or 40 minutes of time. What will I be able to achieve? What I'm going to achieve? There's a 2-digit numbers, adding 2-digit numbers. My children will be able to add 2-digit numbers without carry forward after this class, or with carry forward. My children will be able to identify all the parts of the leaf after this class. Okay, so that is very clear. Aim, very consistent and clear aim is shared at the beginning, and children should be clear and the teacher should be clear on that. And also we'll be introducing some of the key academic vocabulary at the beginning itself, so the children will not be confused later. And this should not be taking too much of time. The preparation part in the classroom, inside the classroom, once the teacher is inside the classroom, and the purposefulness of the classroom, setting the aim of the classroom should be very quick. And the beginning of the class will set the tone of the class entirely. If you're very slow, drag that, and then what will happen? The entire class will be dragged. Should be very brisk. Within first 2-3 minutes this should be done. And we should be able to, in the 4th minute, we should be able to go to the action step, activity path. Okay, I would like to listen from you. So what are the key points that we'll be looking at, and when you are assessing how the teacher is executing the activity? Could you please put that in the chat box? During activity, you are observing an activity, but teacher is doing an activity. So conducting an activity, how will you assess that? What are the sub-parameters, criteria you will be checking for? Yeah, taking rounds, very important. Teacher is not positions at the table, but she is moving around. Asking open-ended questions and giving weight. Okay, that is for the analysis part. Okay, let's park it. Distributing the resources and moving around the classroom. 50-50 participation, interaction. Okay, wonderful. Ready with the material for the activity. And yeah, the activity is connected to the aim, and she is conducting what is given in the lesson plan. Okay, so let's see here instructions also. You're sharing instructions. Okay, so teachers should begin from giving an overview of what is the activity, and teachers should be giving 3 or see the step-by-step instructions. For example, teacher, the aim is to identify the parts of the leaf. The activity is given, children. The first thing, I'm going to give you a leaf. You have to keep it under the paper upside down. Then shade and trace it with a pencil. Third one, observe the chart on the screen or on the board, and label all the parts of the leaf in the imprint that you have got on the sheet. It's very clear. The first one is that, okay, this is what you have to do first, second, third. Then it is always a good practice to check for understanding. Okay, Celine, now you tell me, what do you have to do? And listen to their instructions. Okay, they are repeating the instructions so that we can be very clear. They understood now, so that there will be less no problems inside the classroom during the activity part. Otherwise, children will be very much confused and they will not know what to do. Correct. So that is the instructions. And then if there is a pair work or group work is suggested, individual work is suggested, the setting of the activity to be suggested, a suggested setting of the activity should be followed as it is. And also, this is not a teacher demonstration. Teacher is doing something that children is supposed to do, but teacher is doing it. Then that is not an activity. Here, the teacher is giving a specific wait time, maybe 2 minutes or 3 minutes wait time for children to do the activity. So we have to very specifically see that the children are getting opportunity to explore themselves at the beginning during the activity part. That's about activity. Okay, now analysis. During analysis, what will you look at? Like to listen from you. Maybe you can put in the chat box. During analysis part, the analysis discussion part. Okay, great. Chance to everyone. Yeah, students understanding. Okay, we'll be checking the understanding. Think, pair, share is a wonderful strategy. Discussion, okay. Encouraging all the students to participate. Wonderful. There are varied means of participation is something very important. Okay, so varied means of participation means that children are participating in the discussion. It can be, as you suggested, think, pair, share. Think, pair, share. Okay, I'm asking you the question. You process the question yourself, find out the answer, or jot down the points yourself and talk to your partner. Then you share it to the whole class. Or just turn and talk. Okay, so whatever in your mind, just turn and talk to your partner. You share it. And then you share it to the whole class. Okay, and wait time, many of you are mentioning that wait time. Okay, a 5 seconds, minimum 5 to 7 seconds of wait time after asking a question. So sometimes there must be some children, you ask the question, even if you're not completing the question before that, some children will be raising their hands. They must be waiting for you to give them a chance. Let's call that child Dia. Dia will raise hands all the time in any class. It's maths or science or whatever it may be. She raises her hand and wait for her turn. Okay, so is it okay to give her all the chances? No, right? Okay, so even if she is raising a hand, we are not jumping into her. Instead, we'll be waiting and we will wait for 5 seconds for them to think, and we can choose some children. Can be a cold call. It can be cold call means somebody called randomly somebody. Okay, well, I would like to listen from you, Kishore. Okay, I would like to listen from you, Ria. Okay, this kind of, and when you can quickly call people. And here you have to see that the children's voice. Okay, kids talking. And encourage always talking in complete sentences, in complete sense. Wait for that. Appreciate them, of course. So all of those things. And then you summarize it back to children, very crisp and clear. Too much of talk will also be spoiling and they'll not be listening. They'll go somewhere else. Okay. And then comes the application part, most important part of the application part during the worksheet. Children should be doing it independently. I've seen two scenarios sometimes that children have written the same answer, same answer, everybody, a correct answer, but same in all the notebooks or all the workbooks. Sometimes in the wrong answer given by the teacher, that is same in all the books. Both are wrong, right? And children have their own points to write. So if you have taken that discussion activity well, discussion well, then they are supposed to write well in the worksheets. So it is to ensure that, and it's also by practice only. If unless otherwise we are giving them opportunity to write independently, that will not be happening. So that is another thing. Worksheet and assessment part. You can easily quickly go to a class, any classroom you can randomly enter into, and you can see the previous worksheets, whether it's marked as approaching, meeting, exceeding. And that is one quick part. And also you can see whether the children are writing the same answers or whether writing on their own, that you can easily check at any point of time. And also teachers, and you can also, when you are observing, you can collect the photos that is happening or the photos of the worksheets. And this will be evidence for you, and that will show evidence of the assessment. And exit tickets are powerful tools. So last 2 to 3 minutes should be spent on that. So it can be exit chat as well. So teacher is quickly asking them, okay, children, tell me, what did you learn today? So children is sharing that these are the things that we have learned today. Or it can be, okay, what did you find interesting in the class? Or in the first standard, second standard, or in any other class also, you can just, okay, can you quickly draw what you have learned today? Or you can give, there are umpteen number of exit ticket formats are available online. You can explore that as well. So exit chat and exit tickets are powerful tools, and every teacher should be doing it, and you can check for that as well. And the SuperTeacher, lesson used. What do you mean by that? How will you check whether teacher has used a lesson? Would like to get some responses from you. How will you check whether teacher has used a lesson? Use a lesson, or that whether the teacher has used the SuperTeacher. 5-step methodology is followed or not? Yes, Surekha ma'am. Wonderful. What else you can check? Yeah, correct. You can also see that even if the technology is there inside the classroom, where the teacher is projecting that onto the screen, teacher tips are used, where the teacher has prepared resources. Yeah, SuperTeacher resources are used or not. See, I'll quickly take you through one of the lessons. Here you see parts of the fruit is given. And here you see that if you're projecting that to the screen, you'll see the first tool is that you can find the correct pronunciation of these words, right?
Epicarp. Outermost layer of a fruit.
Okay, what is that? And the audio resources can be used. Another one is picture resources can be used. Here you see how clear the picture is, and that can be projected, and children will understand. And these are the 3 parts of a fruit they're learning today. So it's very clearly picturized, right? And if the teacher is not using it and explaining it on her own, so that will not be that effective. And also here you see, within a few seconds, the concept is clearly explained in this video. So using the video
is an important part of a plant. A fruit has 3 parts. Epicarp is the outermost part that protects the inner part.
Okay, so videos needs to be used, and teacher tips are another area that we have to, whether teachers are using it or not. After the step 1, what the teachers can do, write the keywords on the board. So keywords should be there on the board when the children are describing the part. And when the questions are asked and children are explaining in the way they know, and again to summarize those points, a teacher can share these charts are given, tables are given. All of those tools also should be used inside the classroom. See, that is also going to help them. So this is what actually the teacher's tips, and also the differentiation tips are used. More practice part is used. Using all of these resources effectively in the classroom will definitely help understand the concept better. So we have to see that as well. High energy means, yeah, it is the interaction that is happening inside the classroom, voice modulation, gestures. And voice does not mean the high voice of the teacher inside the classroom. That will not contribute to the high energy inside in the classroom. So any teacher talking too high, so volume is too high. So such kind of classes are usually restless. So teacher should be talking in a moderate voice, normal voice only, so the teachers will feel like listening to it. Yeah, facial expressions, gestures. I see a lot of comments in the chat box as well. Wonderful. Clarity is also coming in. Okay, so that is it. So you'll be looking for these points when you are observing a class. If you're clear on, are you clear on all of these points? The criteria, the main point, and then the sub criteria, what you have to look at. If all of this is happening, okay, you're clear on that. Wonderful. I see the thumbs ups and all. Okay, in that case, I'm going to give you a task here. So here is a video that I'm going to show you, an early childhood program class. So a KG class, and you keep the 8 parameters, 8 criteria. in your mind, and you have to make notes when you're observing the classes. So it is always good to have, you should have the lesson plan when you're observing the classes. Sorry, I'm just going to show you this one. This is a class she's going to take. It's an UKG class, block 3, my senses. See, the idea is that to identify the body parts that help us hear. That is the idea. And here, these are the resources she needs to have. She needs to have different objects that make sound. So here you see the pictures, right? A whistle, bell, all these things are required. And the teacher will be making those sounds, and the children should be closing their eyes, and they have to guess where the sound is heard and what that sound is made. That is the first thing. And then next teacher, what they have to do, they have to talk about the music and song. Music without speaking, okay, without words we can have sound, that is music. With music can be there without sound or without words, and with only words we can make music in a song. So that is what something to be brought in. And then the teacher will be asked, how do you hear? And teacher will be prompting them to make the sentence, I can hear with my ears. That is it, and the worksheet will be done. Let's see now the class. It's quickly have taken you through. So think of don't forget the 8 parameters. Just going to share the screen. For this time, you're going to watch the video. And you have to take notes also. Maybe you can just note down, not done, or done, okay, attempted, done, or done well. So each parameter. Give me a second to share the screen. Yeah, here you are. Hope you see the screen. Yeah.
Yes, Mubashir.
Okay. Audio is clear, Swati?
Yeah, it is.
Roly poly, down, down, down. Roly poly, out, out, out. Roly poly, in, in. Roly poly, slow, slow, slow. Roly poly, fast! Okay, now everybody just sit down. We are going to identify the body part which help us to hear. Here you go. What is this? Up, down, down. Up. This is tambourine. What is this? Tambourine. Okay. What is this? Tambourine. Okay. Guitar. Okay. Keys. What are these? Keys. That is keys. Okay. Maybe you would be knowing this. Okay, we call it rattle. What do we call it? Rattle. Okay. Maybe you practice this sound also. Okay. क्या होता है इसको? Yes. Yes. What is this? Very good. Close your eyes, everyone, again. Close your eyes. Again, close your eyes. Please close your eyes. Okay, now just going to play again some sound and listen to it very carefully, okay? And then you will raise a silent hand. Yuvraj, I can see your one eye open. Oh! Silent hand is not yes, you should. What's your name? Bell. Yes, that sound was of bell. Okay. Anyone else who is raising hand? Yes, Vika, you open your eyes. This is the sound. Bell. Very good. Okay. Now again close your eyes. Again close your eyes. Now raise your hand. Raise the silent hand. Yes, yes, yes. You are following the rule. Yeah, very good. Yes, yes, yes. This was the sound of clap. Now, everyone tell me that when you were closing your eyes and listening to the sound, which body part was helping you to hear the sound? कौन से body part से? Raise your hand. Silent hand. Let me go to the child who is following the dog. Yes. Get the mic. Huh? Here. Okay. Would you all read one sentence with me? I can hear with my ears. I can hear with my ears. Very good. We will all do one worksheet. Do you all want to do one worksheet? Yes. Do you see some pictures here? Yeah, guitar is here. Flutes. Okay, flutes. Flute. Yes, this is flute. And what is this? Yeah, yes. The guitar has a guitar. Okay. Okay. Now who else? Somebody else. Yes. What else we can circle here? आप बताओ यहाँ पे आके बताना चाहोगे? Which one? इसमें से किस चीज को सर्कल करोगी जिसमें से साउंड आता है? इसमें से उसमें से साउंड आता है फ्लूट है. Okay. So guitar, flute. What else? What is this? What is this? Radio. Radio. So इसमें से भी sound आते हैं. Sound आता है. Okay. So can we circle this also? Okay. Then what are we going to do next is इसमें we have to draw one here. Okay. So now Pam is going to give you the workbooks. Okay. Be ready with your pencils, everyone. And Pam is going to tell you. Draw one here like this. Okay. You're done. Draw this here. Okay. You can use this crayon also. Okay. किसमें से आता है? अच्छा आपने से पेंट किया है क्या आपने से साउंड आता है इसको तो नहीं करना है करेक्ट पिक्चर यूज करना है ओके जस्ट लाइक दिस नाउ यू हैव टू ड्रॉ हियर Who will tell me that what did you learn today? आज क्या सीखा? Which body part help us with your? Ear. So can you all repeat one more time with me? I can hear. With my ear. With my ear. I can hear. I can hear. With my ear.
Okay, hope you have observed it very carefully, just like an XC leader would do. Yeah, already started getting some responses. Let's see. Okay. Second, I'm sharing the screen. You see the screen, right? Okay.
Yes.
Let's share that in the chat box. Okay, what went well in the class? Okay, you will be sharing as an instruction leader. Okay, Chetna ma'am has already shared it, clear instructions or yeah, appreciating answers, energetic, proper use of board. Yeah, what is well done? Enthusiasm was there inside the class. So, okay, connecting that to the energy of the class. Clear directions were given. Action part was well done. Yeah, voice clarity was there. Rephrasing and response. Okay, rephrasing the responses back to children. Responses was collected. All this went well. Okay, wonderful. Okay, so can you think of some points that could have been better? What should have been better in the class? Okay, preparation was good. What could be better? Shashidhara ma'am, you're saying the action part could be better. So could you please share what could have been better in action part itself? Usage of what, Manasa ma'am? That is a broken sentence, I guess. Yeah, Sarita ma'am is sharing the teacher should have been moderate rather than loud. Okay, she was too loud. Okay, accept. And everything is good. We find out something that what could have been better in the class. Also, we have seen the lesson plan, right? Can you connect to that? Okay, responses should have been recorded on the board using the flashcards. More instruments could have been used. Okay. Follow-up questions can be planned and use ice cream sticks to choose different children. Yeah, correct. Okay, so if you want to give this teacher one advice, one action step, what would you give? What will be the one or two maximum action step that you would like to give to this teacher? Suggest only one for now. That would be enough. One action step to improve her class further next time. Okay, waiting for your responses. Voice could be lower, but firm. Okay, firm voice, but could be lower. Okay, that is the one feedback you're going to give. You can use an attention grabber is what, okay. Yeah, attention grabber can be used. Instead of telling yeah, silent, all of those things, she can use that. Okay, make students to use resources on their own. Okay. Try to engage all the students in the classroom. Okay, she was not going to close to the children. Okay, approaching the children during the worksheet part. She's already doing is what I understood. Yeah, okay, wonderful. Okay, so these are the, you haven't seen the class fully also. This is a 6 minute part of activity could be done in groups. Okay, if it is suggested in the lesson plan. So, okay, these are the some good framing of action steps. Wonderful. Okay, great. So what we're going to do next? Okay, so here is the way that we are going to reframe, the way we are going to give the feedback to the teacher. Okay, so you have suggested randomly, okay, this is went well and this could be better and this is what you have to do. And now revisit those, you have those notes, you have taken given feedback to that particular teacher, this teacher. So revisit those feedback, the points that you have noted down, and you have to frame in this way now. Frame this way. So what is the one thing that you want to appreciate? Okay, always we have to start from something that you want to appreciate. Maybe you can give appreciate. Write appreciate and we'll be framing one sentence on that alone, what you're going to appreciate this teacher for. Wonderful. Okay, so you are ready with all the resources required for the class. That's amazing. Okay, you're ready for you prepared for the class well, so that you have ready with all the resources required for the class. That was amazing. Okay, instructions were very clear. I really appreciate you for that. Correct. You're giving, yeah, appreciation. So preparation, you will be prepared well for the class. Okay, so if you want to ask a question to the teacher, what will you ask? This is something you need clarity as a instruction leader. You need some clarity from the teacher. The teacher has done something differently, or the teacher has missed something on what is suggested in the lesson plan. So what will you be asking? That one question you will be asking. Differentiated instructions you will appreciate for. So as a teacher should take care of the voice. Okay, good. What is the one question? Aim, clarity in the aim. Okay, so you'll be asking a question. So usually these questions, if you don't have a question, leave it that part. That is okay. Perfectly okay to have not having a question. So appreciation is one thing that you appreciate. So one question is that you want to ask and clarify the points that you have not understood in her class completely. And it can be an open-ended question so that the teacher can give you reflect on her own practices, what she has done inside the classroom, and she will give you. So give an adequate wait time for the teacher also, not only for the children. Let them think and let them respond to you. And if you don't have a question, as I told you, you can skip that part. Okay, then next part is is apprehension. What is an apprehension? See, something that you want to start with your feedback. Okay, you want to start with your action step. Before that, what will you say? Okay, for example, this voice. Okay, I thought that the voice was a bit higher so that it was not so smooth to listen to. Maybe you can share. Or is it the audio of the music, that part was missing in your classroom? Do you think that was okay when that you could have been included in the classroom? So just like that, you have to share an apprehension. Okay, I think this was there, then the class, the much understanding must have been better. Okay, so one or two areas, remember, see, always remember that you are dealing with adults, you are mentoring adults. So the people, and they can only change one or two areas at a point of time, at a time. So what you have to do, focus on the highest. Don't give bars with a lot of concerns. I'm really concerned with all of those things. This is not happening. This, you are not doing that. That is not sharing an apprehension. So the highest level of concern, okay, this is the one concern that I have. I don't think that all children getting getting opportunity in your class. Okay, what we can do for that? This can be an apprehension that you're sharing with. It should not be in a threatening way. Whenever I observe the class, this is what I see. No, that is a different tone. And with that tone, you will not be able to coach that teacher. You will not be able to correct that teacher. Okay, so that will only make her hostile, right? So you have to give it in such a way that the tone should be very much calm, and you should be honest in your concerns also, whatever is sharing. Okay, and then the next step is giving an advice. As already you have pointed, you shared now one action step. One advice that you want to give can be feedback is not always complete unless otherwise you give an action step for the teacher to do next time. Okay, this area you can do this way. Maybe that would be better. And if you don't have a suggestion at all, you have a problem, but you don't have maybe this is a concern that I see in all the classes as well. So what shall we do? Let's think about it. Okay, so in such a way that you can present it. Sometimes such scenario is also possible. So this is what these are the 4A way of framing your feedback. This will be respecting the other person when you're giving feedback. Appreciate them. Ask if you have any questions and share an apprehension. Then give a small piece of advice. Don't give too many advices together. You'll be observing that class regularly, right? So keep adding and make the teacher accountable for that, whatever advice that you're giving. Maybe she can note down somewhere so that she will be more aware of these pieces of action step that you have suggested next time when she is preparing for the class. Okay, being said that, that our role is not over there, and we are observing classes, and we are maintaining a record of the blue checklist and the year plan, and all of those things are there with us. So what we have to do now, another integral part of your role is also reporting to the management. Report to the management means it is not giving a complaint or not being very specific. You are randomly saying something. When we report to the management, it is important that we don't just share the generic updates. Yeah, things are going well. Yeah, things needs to be need improvement, or these kind of generic suggestions or updates will not help both the sides, right? You or the management. But be specific always, and also evidence based. Okay, so this always the key findings. What you have to do is to share the example of strong teaching practices. Okay, these are the two areas that I see every teacher is giving instructions very clearly and allowing children to do the activities. And one area of concern also, student outcome. Okay, this was the these many children were finding it difficult to do right independently in the previous classes. Now it is improved. I only see 2 children struggling. That will also be rectifying. And who is doing well in your school? I mean, the teachers, who is doing well? How these 2 teachers are doing really well. And also share who needs help. Okay, I think these Swati and Mubashir, they need some support. We'll be giving them. And this is the very specific evidence-based support that you are update that you're giving to the management. And the next point is about also not only giving you the problems, giving them the problems, also what are you intending to do? Okay, so these are the action steps that I planned. What I would like to do, share your strategy to assist your teachers. And what will be your follow-up plans? Okay, so these 2 teachers are finding they are struggling. So what will I do for them? Maybe I'll do a micro teaching session with them. I'll do a demo for them. Maybe I'll do a co-teaching with them. So what is your plan? Strategy should also be shared. And the next part is also encouraging the leadership involvement. And they are not only the passive listeners, whatever update that you're giving, but invite them to your class sometimes. Or it's a teacher is doing really well inside the classroom. Okay, and she's teaching wonderfully. Okay, take the management or the principal to the classroom. And so let them also observe those classes. Maybe they will have some other points to share. So strong teacher in action, that should be, we have to, whatever you're doing, that's a fruit of your effort. So they have to see that as well. And that will give them confidence in continuing the program. And also seeking help and input. What is this? Asking support. If you need some kind of support from the management, ask for it. It may be time issues, maybe the timetable for English, we need additional period, or you need some additional support in terms of resources, or you need their presence in some of the areas, or they need some kind of actions to be taken. That's all those things. So that can also be there in your reporting to the management. What does that clearly should be suggesting? Being said that, just over to you, Swati, for the next session.
Thank you so much, Mubashir. That was a lot of information and a lot of things that have been discussed. Yeah, so many things have been discussed. Very useful information with respect to the tools that have been shared with us. Before we actually get into the next session, just give me a second. Let me share my screen. I wanted you all to share. We have at the beginning, we have seen a slide, if you remember, that you can make a difference, and we have discussed about your role. So if you remember, recollect it, before we start the session 3, I want you to put in the chat box, what are the 5 things that we have spoken about in your role? If you can type in. Let's see how many of you remember, how many of you turn your pages to see. So we have spoken about 5 points under your role. So quickly, if you can put in what were they? Okay, classroom observation criteria. Very good. Lead by example, right? Lead with impact, planning visits. Tools are again the second, to do this role, you need tools. So we have discussed that. Solving problems, planning to visit classes. So you want me to show that slide to you one more time? Sources are ready. Just let me know if you want to see the slide one more time. Just show me a thumbs up if you want to see that slide one. Yes, giving constructing feedback. That's too good. That's too good. Okay, let me share that slide for you then. Just let me stop sharing this and then directly take you that particular slide so that you remember what, again, you reiterate what your role is, right? So it's very, very important since we are being the coordinators or being the instructional leaders, we are trying to make an impact and we wanted to lead by example. And whatever Mubashir has shared until now is to lead by example. What are the tools that are needed for you to lead by example? And this is the major part of the role. So lead by example, where we have already seen how you can encourage children, teachers to be confident while speaking by watching a video of as an example where the children were speaking with confidence without being unafraid, and also how you can make time to observe. We have also have seen a routine, a table which we spoke about, and how to give a constructive feedback is what Mubashir has taken you through using a blue checklist, and how can you report on how things are going on with your management, and also setting the culture and building the habits, right? Are we clear now? I hope you all remember. If you can give me a thumbs up once again before we start the next session. Okay, so thank you so much. That's again for us to understand that you're all on track. Okay, so we already said the third session is all about solving problems, practical solutions for teachers and parents, right? So this is what we are going to, and in this particular session now, we will be decoding the challenges. What are the key challenges? Some of the common questions that we have, and also some of the needs of the teachers and parents. And also we will try to get as much as practical strategies to support these, whatever challenges that you have, and also have some effective classroom and home-based solutions, right? So for that, I want you to type in the chat box one burning question that you have, that question your teachers needed answer for. So in the chat box, one question that your teachers needed an answer for. Okay. And it would be better because we are leaders if we can frame a question. I understood, Chetana ma'am. Time management, classroom management. Students do not complete the task on time. Have to manage time. Keep moving if you want to ask. Identifying approachers. Okay. So I also, so far I've seen something related to time management and classroom management. Almost all questions are leaning towards that. Okay, fine. I also have some of the questions as, how to build the gap between UKG and grade 1. Okay. Right. So there are some questions which aren't related to the implementation of the program. So we have to be specific with the implementation of the program instead of, something like handwriting. But other than that, like you have seen, you have the answers yourself, you have seen and you have encouraged and you appreciated the teacher, in the video, the teacher about her preparation. So how well she prepared to ensure that all things happen with her in the classroom on time. Obviously, that is the best answer for the time management. And also being Exceed leaders, we've discussed that pre-discussion is very important before you get into the classroom to observe those teachers. So please ensure that you have this discussion, how well the teacher has planned, are the resources ready? So when she gets into the classroom, are all of them set? Do we have the pre-divided groups in our classroom? Do we use certain strategies like, to ensure that children are answering without wasting time? Because you also spoke about classroom management. Some of you have asked me about classroom management. Again, it is all about, so both of them come hand in hand together. So when there is a well prepared managed class happen, time management also happens. So preparation is the best answer. And obviously, like you said, classroom management can be achieved by following the strategies that we discussed during the follow-up session. So I'll just highlight some of them, like using ice cream sticks, having pre-divided groups, and also using attention grabbers so that children listen, or children ensure that they've been more attentive so that the class is smoother. Right? And also I can see another question, as I said, how to bridge the gap between UKG and grade 1. So if you see, the gap has been, so the lesson plans are very well planned in such a way that let me stop sharing my screen so that I can see the questions. The lesson plans are planned in such a way that obviously teachers have, a grade, when the children are done in UKG, they have one teacher, whereas they go to grade 1, they have multiple teachers. So we are trying to help students move smoothly from UKG to grade 1 by actually strengthening the early reading and math skills. For example, in UKG, if the phonics were reinforced, in grade 1, we are starting with the phonic review. So that it will help the child to shift from one teacher to the subject teacher, which is a new learning style for them. Right. Also, similarly, in UKG, teachers build reading confidence with word walls or sight word trees or CVC, letter cards, and single sentence starters and all these things. Whereas grade 1 also, with a recap of these key concepts using the phonic lessons and rhymes, and as well as small and short stories or poems with if you remember, there are beautiful stories like No Pencil and also The Only Elephant in the Class. All these kind of stories will really make children understand and build that gap, because they can, and also teachers can use the SuperTeacher app tips that are given, right? And also daily making word activities to support learning from the very first month or whenever you start your classes exactly. Okay.
So, Swati, there is another question that what are some of the strategies to help students write worksheets on their own? So, it's a burning question for many, it seems.
Okay. So obviously, you need to understand that to help students complete the worksheets on their own, you have to start by making sure they understand the question first. So most of the time, it's not just that children don't know the answer. The problem is that they don't understand the question. So you have to ensure that they understand the question and then move towards answering. If they are facing difficulty in understanding, making children break the question and rephrase that question to make them understand, right? And also encourage them to read it carefully. When they read it carefully and identify the keywords or verbs that show what is exactly expected of that question, then it will be easy for children to answer on their own. And if they struggle in the case, you can always provide help with vocabulary, some sentence starters, or you can ask children to say the answer in their first language and you can translate it, right? That is how we can support them in framing answers by using a part of a question, or as I said already, a sentence starter which you can use. And also your board work. That is the greatest kind of, a tool for children, those who struggle to write independently. The clear board work with hints and sentence stems will really help in children framing their own sentences. So when this, again, these all things to be practiced regularly and in every subject, which will build confidence. And then when you appreciate children attempting these kind of answers, will give them confidence and improve their writing skills. I hope
That's
that
great.
answers your question.
Yeah. And these questions in the worksheet are also similar to the questions that we asked in the discussion part. So
Exactly.
that part itself, it should start from there. The activity and analysis part is done well, and that will help a lot. Maybe
Right.
board work also will help.
Yes. And
Super.
analysis, like Moba shared, paves the path for worksheet.
Exactly. Okay, Mr. Another question, I think. And what does the ideal notebook look like for next seat student? What's the best way and time to give notes to the students?
So, I believe obviously the notebook structure for each lesson is, how the school's culture is, or how their philosophy, or how they take it. It is all influenced by that, right? And so obviously the lesson content and the board exam pattern also influences it. But the super teacher program does not recommend any fixed structure. We are very flexible in that aspect. However, we want to emphasize and also enhance writing skills in students, so which need to be prioritized during the notebook writing, right? And for early childhood program, this also includes forming letters, numbers, within the given lines or on the dotted lines. And in pre-primary and middle programs, it also involves writing answers in 2 to 3 sentences from to 8 to 10 sentences. So from different grades and different classes have, the expectation is in different types of sentences. And also practice questions also, sometimes that demands some short answers and some long answers and some structured writing, which can be included in the notebook work as well. So while objective type questions, which are included in the notebook work, or the questions that are there, and the glossary can also be done in the content book itself, if that's okay. Again, that is a recommendation. However, the school, the culture is, or however they do, or take it as a part of their their structure, it can fit into that. And also, in addition, the lesson plan guide, that actually guides you when a notebook could be used. For example, to brainstorm ideas, you have to, when you're making tables to record observations during activity, when you're writing your predictions, when you're writing your notebook glossary words, when you write your rough drafts specifically in English or social, that is also considered as a.
Wonderful. That's pretty much answered the question. And what do we do if there are grammar and spelling mistakes? Is it completely prohibiting XC teachers to correct the workbooks and notebooks?
No. I think you can highlight or underline, obviously, whenever there are errors, because we believe in not penalizing the child, because we are more aligned to the aim when we start a class with. So we can always highlight and underline the errors for them to fix it, or we can provide hints to help them identify the mistakes. And we can also, and in case whenever teacher has time during the revision or so, they can always discuss these errors or whatever highlighted mistakes or identified mistakes are, and always use word walls, phonic rules, or spelling patterns to support this learning, right? When just don't simply correct the mistake or just write the name. Just use some strategy so that children can learn and regularly practice that. And obviously, with regular practice and gentle feedback, it will help students, to improve over time. For whenever if you see something like repeatedly the same mistake is happening, you have to give extra practice through some quick exercises or games. That will help.
Wonderful. Okay, great. What are the techniques that we can offer to offer English teachers to help managing time? Then already we have discussed it, right? The time
Yes, we
management
did
is what.
discuss. And also, obviously, as I said, it's obviously a common misconception that, spending longer time on a lesson is always better for students for, better understanding. But if the lesson is well executed, most of the time it will be doable and the time and students will be able to achieve the aim. Right. And certainly practice and remediation are very, very important. So, but well, like you mentioned about co-teaching, co-preparation, those things will really help. So, if a instructional leader sit with the teacher and the other teacher, some of the group that is available can sit, co-teach next day's lesson in front of others and try to take the feedback, right? These things will really help. So, when a well-run lesson will reduce this need of, the freeing up the time. So, for example, when you have a proper planning and you run accordingly, then your time is very well adjusted. And as I mentioned, again, I'm highlighting good academic planning. It can help identify the lessons likely to be tougher. And then also give them more time. For example, if I take any one of the English lessons, because you spoke about English lessons or social lessons require a lot of pre-work. Right. Some lessons can be given as a pre-reading work, which will definitely, give some time for children to go through, find the words so that they're not seeing for the first time in the classroom. Right. And try to avoid line by line explanation, use reading strategies so that they know something like inferring from the context clues, prediction, picture reading, strategies like somebody shared, think, pair, share, graphic organizers. These will all help in quick comprehension.
Exactly. And sometimes it can be in higher classes, the pre-work can also be given some reading, right?
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
That's what I said. Pre-work from grade 4
Hmm.
onwards also we can try
Of course.
specifically for English.
And some of the questions here are related to the parents' concern, I think. And shall we move on to that?
Yes, of
Okay.
course.
So one question is that it's again related to teacher centeredness. Why don't teachers read directly from the content book during the class? Usually in a traditional classroom, teacher has the content book, will be reading and explaining the content book line by line. Why that is not happening inside an Excel class?
Obviously, teachers don't read directly from the content book in an Exceed class because Exceed class has Exceed method, right? A super teacher lesson follows the Exceed method. So first students have to explore the lesson through the activity, and then they discuss their findings during analysis. They have a discussion. We already spoke about maintaining a 50-50 class, right? It only makes sense if that is being followed. And then they get to apply their learning in the worksheet or the workbook. So that is the reason the content book is used later, which is for practice and reading, right? So it presents actually key concepts in a clear, age-appropriate, infographic way, which will help students understand independently without actually feeling overwhelmed. And also when children are doing homework or trying to, recapitulate whatever is being learned in the classroom, so textbooks or content books they play a major role at home to support children. So that's the reason that teachers don't directly read it.
Even inside the classroom also, once the class is over and or just after, some children may complete the worksheet immediately, so they can
They
take up the
can.
content book and use it to give more practice
Yes,
or understanding, or after that refining the answers in the worksheet as well, they can use it for.
exactly. And
Wonderful.
also some of the cases where children struggle to answer the homework questions, they can refer content book and also try to frame the sentences.
Okay. And often this is a question, how should we communicate what students learned in the class and what parents can do to follow up, and how parents can help at home?
Right. To answer that, obviously, teachers can use the news feed. We have an amazing app called SuperTeacher Parent app, which has two important features. One is newsfeed and the other one is homework tabs. And where in newsfeed you can share the photos and key lesson organizers, the board work, any important updates, any preparation details, everything can be shared over there. Whereas in the homework tab, you can start sharing the homework. Anything that you wanted to give as a project can be shared. Also, you can add the super teacher homework as well as your own handwritten homework over there. So parents can actually support by listening to the child's read. When the children are reading, if you the parent has to sit with the child when they are reading, and the parent can always support. They can also discuss the practice questions. You can encourage parents to use those practice questions with children. Have them, discussion, not just, rote memorization where you ask a question and the child gives you an answer. So you have to encourage your parents, you have to guide your parents to have a discussion instead of just waiting for an answer, and help with the project planning, not do the project themselves, right? And they can always refer to the block commentary for the guidance. There we have a big idea under every block starting. Whenever we have that, also will help.
Yeah. And the block commentary also, in the KG classes, it's given the at-home activities as well, how parents can
Exactly.
support them.
And
Wonderful.
they are
Awesome.
available in the worksheet.
Worksheets also it's available. Even in the content book also, activities are given at the beginning
Yes,
of every block. So that
exactly.
will also be very useful. And the amount of writing in Exceed seems to be too little, is what some of the parents are raising as a concern. Will that impact the child's performance in the higher classes?
I think students actually complete the worksheet daily in class, and they also have practice questions they need to be solving at home. And before they move on to the next block, they also have in-class questions. And after every 5 blocks, we have revision blocks where they attempt a variety of questions. So these questions are all designed to develop the higher order thinking skills that are aligned with the central board competencies, ensuring strong preparation for the assessments. So if the children are doing all of them, I don't think it's any more too little for them. And that will definitely help in the child's performance if they are allowed to discuss and write it on their own instead of just copying.
Yeah, it is actually a myth, it seems, and because every day 10 minutes they are spending on writing a worksheet on their own, and
Yeah.
apart from that, we have got multiple other writings also. Maybe they are not doing just in a traditional classroom. There'll be 2 periods they'll be writing notes alone, and that may not be happening, but in
Exactly.
a daily happening. Yeah, that's amazing. Okay, so and another question is that children were writing independently in the workbooks and notebooks. Independent writing is happening. Will they learn proper model writing? Unless the teacher is dictating or writing them on the board, children are copying it. How will they learn the model writing?
Again, this could be another myth. So teachers
Mm.
provide, when you say that teacher provide model writing through, structured board work. So model writing can always happen with the hint or with the support, not just by giving the notes, right? So the teacher can give structured board work. She can give sentence starters. She can give key organizers during the lesson. And they also can guide in framing answers by using cues and also questions or some hints. And we also said that in the previous also, when you asked, we said I recommended that teachers can listen to the answer in the mother tongue and then translate it, right? So these all things can be done to make children learn more, proper model writing. Also, additionally, students engage with well written text in their content books, which I already just before this question I told you, which serves as an example of proper writing. So children, when they are writing, they can always refer to that. And the writing guides in the English content books are literally useful. In every block, we expose students to different writing structures. It's not just one form. We do a lot of different writings like persuasive essays or summarizations, story maps, own stories, poems. A lot of writing structures are being given. And this approach helps them develop obviously independent writing skills without relying only just on dictation. So they can do both hand in hand.
Correct. And these no written text, no model writing is given in the English content books. That's very
Yes.
amazing tool. Really helpful for any child to write any piece of writing.
Yeah, when I get into the classroom observations, I really get, I get to see a lot of different writings and different perceptions with respect to all these things like you shared. I get amazed that how these kids, young kids are doing when we couldn't do anything at that age.
That's very true. And how does Exceed method prepare children to perform well in the board exams and competitive examinations?
Obviously, it's just Exceed method builds a strong foundation when things are being followed in the structure that is being given. So we do, the entire method is built on building skills like comprehension, problem solving, and application-based learning, which are very much essential for board and competitive exams. So when students practice this HOTS questions daily through worksheets, in-class discussions, and revision exercises, this ensures that the conceptual clarity is being focused and they understand rather than rote learn, right? So regular assessments, exposure to different question type, not just the same type, and being worried about my whatever questions that are being given in the classrooms are not, given in the exam sheets. Why is it? Because we wanted children to have exposure to different question type. And then also when they do the step-by-step problem solving strategies, it will really develop confidence and exam readiness the children.
The type of questions given in the worksheet or in the practice questions itself is it's a wonderful tool actually to get all sort of questions that the children should think, and that is what in competitive examinations actually focused on. Amazing. And I think there are no other questions. Let's move on. So next we have to share
Just give
feedback,
me a
right?
second. Yes. So I hope the session was useful, and it becomes really useful when you start using all these strategies and tools that we have discussed about. So it will be alive unless you use it, otherwise will be dead. So we request you to start using them. And as I said, start from day one, since every day is precious. Let's not wait for any particular day. Let's start it from day one, set the culture, build the routine. Okay, thank you so much for your time and participation until now. So please click on this link in the, here you can see it. And also in the chat, Mubashir will share the link. You can click on that link and share your feedback. Please do not forget to share your feedback. And I hope the session is useful. Thank you so very much, everybody, for participating so actively. Yeah, Mubashir, are you pasting? Yes, there is the link. Thank you so much, everyone.
And those who are leaving, please don't forget to take the post test. Please take it and get your certificates as well.
Yeah, sorry, I forgot. That's a very important announcement. You should all be taking your post test before the end of the day today, so that you get your certificates within 48 hours in your SuperTeacher Academy tab.
Super, amazing. Thank you so much.
Thank you, everyone. Have a great day and great year ahead.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for the active participation. See you all. Bye.
See you all.
Thank you so much.